If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. The other day I was telling you about how I wasn't feeling well, and I think it was because of the climate that I was in. I'm used to a very humid, moist climate, hot, humid. Of course, I lived in Missouri, which is always a very hot and humid state. I was telling you how I have these allergies as a result of mold poisoning that I'd gotten once in my life. And so now I'm real susceptible to different pollen allergies and just all kinds of different allergies. And I'm able to control that with over-the-counter medications, Allegra and Claritin. But when I got into Texas, West Texas specifically, the air is so dry and windy and dusty, it really made me sick. I was sick for a couple days. I had a headache, I was dehydrated, which is another, I think I just had several things going on. I was dehydrated. My sinuses were bleeding, I think because they were so dry. And so it took me a few days to get over that and to get acclimated to it. Well, when I made the video, several people said you need to be worried about valley fever. And I've heard about this before, but I really didn't think much of it. Wasn't in Arizona, hadn't planned on going to Arizona anytime soon, but this refreshed my memory. So I thought, I better take a look at this, see what this is. So what it is, it's an algae that lives in the Southwest, primarily Arizona and Southern California, but it also lives in New Mexico and west part of Texas, kind of where I'm at now. Now what it is, it's like I said, it's a fungus, and I can't pronounce the name of the fungus. I'll put it on the screen here. It's actually pretty serious. So this fungus lives in the dirt, in the dust. And if it's stirred up for any reason, it might be a farmer or a windy day, or you're into construction, and then these particles of the fungus break loose, you breathe it in and it gets into your lungs. Well, that's where the trouble begins. First of all, if you're young and healthy, you can build an immunity to it. So folks who lived in Arizona all their life, based on what I can find out, have probably gotten it in their past. And, when they were young, they recovered from it. And so it doesn't bother them anymore. But if you're not from that area, you don't have any immunities built up to it. Fewer than 200,000 people a year get it. Now, that doesn't sound like a big number, except we're talking about 3 or 4 states. The largest percentage of people who get it go to or in Arizona. They get it from Arizona. 30% of the cases get it from Arizona. So that means about 60,000 people each year get this fungus from Arizona. Now, the symptoms, depending on your immune system, can vary greatly. You can get it, and what it is you get it, and about a week to 3 weeks later, you start getting the symptoms. And they're flu-like symptoms. Fever, rundown, can't breathe is a big one, and that's the biggest one. You can't breathe. So the fungus will cling into the walls of the lungs. Now, I'm not an expert in all of this. I'm just telling you what I read. It can cause scarring of some sort into your lungs. So if you go get an x-ray, which is about the only way they can test it, or they can do a skin test or a blood test. So there are about 3 ways they can test to see if you have this. But if you get an x-ray, it can actually appear to be lung cancer. That's how serious it is. The second stage is it can actually start piercing the lungs. It can start causing skin tissue scarring because it causes a rash. It turns into a pimple. In some cases, they actually have to go in and vent off your lung cavity and try to make repairs. But now we're talking about folks with lower immune systems. But that doesn't mean you're not going to get it and you're not going to feel like crud. I remember a couple years ago, there was a big event in the desert. There's this guy, YouTuber, who does this big event in the desert, and a lot of people got sick that year, and everybody kept saying it was the flu, Well, now I'm beginning to wonder if it wasn't the flu, it was this fungus. It's something to be aware of, that when you travel, you're going to be in different environments. I thought I would also discuss ticks. There's actually a lot of people who don't know what a tick is, but ticks are very common in the Midwest, in Missouri. They can cause Lyme disease. So anytime you're out in the woods or walking around in tall grass, make sure you have long pants on, and you try to tuck your pants down into your shoe, those kind of things. And when you get done walking around, get inside and take a shower. That's the biggest thing with ticks. You don't want them hanging on you, because as soon as they bite you, they can transfer what's called the Lyme disease. And Lyme disease can be symptomatic also. You can get over it, but then there's chronic Lyme disease where it just never leaves you. Now, mosquitoes I found very interesting. Some people will say, hey, how come I get mosquito bites more than you do? That is a true statement. I did some research on this. Some people actually get bit by mosquitoes more than others. And here's what the deal is. Several factors. O blood type get bit more by mosquitoes than A and B blood types. So you're just genetically prone to get bit by mosquitoes more often than the other blood types. There's some other factors that go into this too. People who have high lactic acid tend to be bit more because mosquitoes like the lactic acid in your bloodstream. Lactic acid is when you get those sore muscles after exercise. So if you're doing a lot of exercising and you're building up muscle, you're more prone to get mosquito bites. Mosquitoes are attracted to carbon dioxide. So when you breathe out, mosquitoes are attracted to that. That's how they figure out that you're not just a limb somewhere. It knows that animals who have blood breathe out carbon dioxide, so it senses out carbon dioxide. Healthier people who are in better shape, who have a lower heart rate and a lower resting breathing rate, are actually bitten less than people who are out of shape. Now, some solutions to mosquito bites, obviously, is get something that has DEET in it, a bug spray that has DEET. DEET only lasts 90 minutes, so make sure that you spray yourself regularly. And if you're going to put it on your face, put it on your hands and rub it on your face. Don't breathe that in because it can damage your lungs. Also, wear light-colored clothing is another suggestion that I read. Mosquitoes are not attracted to light-colored clothing. For whatever reason, some suggestions and warnings about your health conditions. If you become a nomad, you're going to want to be aware of some of these conditions, because I was completely taken back about how ill I got when I got into West Texas. And it took me a day of just sitting around resting, drinking lots and lots of fluids, and getting myself back into shape. And I drink, like I said, I drink about a gallon of water a day, and I know I was dehydrated. And I know that day that I got sick, I had drank 2 gallons of water. I just had to sit around, rest, stay inside, keep myself from breathing all that dust. And once I started feeling better, I was able to go back outside without any more symptoms. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.